Welcome all. This is the TX League Maverick Cup at Road America. Coming down the front stretch set to go green. We have two classes tonight. We have the LMP1 class and the GTEs. Daniel Johnson on pole for the LMP1s as he takes the field down into turn one. Back behind him, Leif Peterson on pole for the GTEs. Big lockup for me back there into turn three. Oh, contact. That was new paint schemes. That's Larry Ford on Greg. Hold on to it, Muhammad. Flashing the lights, it's probably from trying to grab every bit of the wheel he could. That was a nice save. I did that in practice, but I could not recover it. I found the wall in that situation. So for the P1 field, Road America here tonight, this was, well, I guess it was the other night, but this was quite difficult to manage the hybrid system in the P1s. And as this Larry going onto pit road with damage, you can see the damage to the back of Greg's car. I didn't really see what happened, but obviously something bad enough to cause Larry to come in. I don't know if that was a meatball flag or the car just ill handling. Well, we got a shot of the GTEs. You saw Larry had red mirrors. This is Clint Ford with is that blue, dark blue mirrors. And then Tommy Brown making a return. He's got the purple mirrors. Looks like purple mirrors. There's purple trim on the front of the cars. And trim on the back is how we're going to tell those apart. And John Prince, when he makes the races, he'll have green. The 4 Texas Longhorn racing drivers. Oh, that's Chris in the red, white, and blue Ford. I don't think he got any damage, maybe just kissed the wall there. So after all that in GTE, we got Leif, Greg, Clint, Tommy, Chris, and Larry sitting on pit road still. Clint looking back to Tommy. This is Tommy's first start in the league since October 2nd, 2014, when he last ran in the Lone Star Sports Car Series. That was at Road Atlanta in the Roof GT3 car. I believe Tommy and Clint, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, those two work together. So this race happened Friday night, so whoever comes out on top gets to brag Monday morning. Oh, and that was Tommy running wide out of the kink. Race director just cut away. He obviously recovered just fine, didn't lose too much ground to Clint here. Long front straight here, up the hill to the start-finish line at Road America. Oh, Clint running wide here through the carousel. And he holds on to it. On board with your leader, Leif Peterson. Pit entry on the right, again up the hill to the start-finish line. See how long we stay with them. You see just how long it is down this straightaway all the way down to turn one here. Or maybe we'll watch Tommy. Still kind of curves uphill still as they crest over just beyond the start-finish line. Daniel Johnson, your lead LMP1, catching the tail end of the GTEs now. So here's turn one. And that's the exit of what they call turn 3 that we're seeing back there. There's a slight, I don't even want to call it a kink between 1 and 3 that they call turn 2. It looks like a straightaway to me, but officially that's turn 2 as we come down 3A and 4 into 5 right here. Again, they look more like kinks to me, but Road America is counting them as turns. I think I was talking earlier about the P1s managing the hybrid systems. I thought Le Mans was going to be difficult, but there's enough points at Le Mans to recharge the battery, both under acceleration down the long straights and also under braking, that the automatic settings did a really good job. This is your leader, Leaf Peterson in the GT lead. There was enough points to keep the battery charged at Le Mans. I actually had a problem with the battery overcharging at Le Mans, and I had to turn the regain setting down quite a bit. Oh, big lock up there from Tommy. Is that Clint back off? Those two swapped positions again, and here they swap again. So Le Mans, the problem was the battery getting topped off and not using, the lap is so long that you're kind of saving the boost and not really using it out of some of the fast turns. Here, there's so many turns to use the boost out of. This looks like Muhammad, he looks like he may be done for tonight. There's so many opportunities to use boost at Road America here. Adam a little indecisive on where he was going to pass there. Back to what I was saying. Here at Road America, there's so many turns to use your boost out of. The problem here was regaining enough boost, because here's a good spot to hit the brakes, regain some, but then as soon as you're back on the gas, you're using it. And then you're not really using enough brake here to regain enough to, and this is almost like a lift and then hit the gas and you're using more boost. So at Road America here, it seemed like there was trouble finding spots to use the brakes enough to rebuild the boost, and I actually wasn't getting a full lap. Every lap you have a certain amount you get to use, and I wasn't recharging the battery enough to be able to use the full amount every lap, 100% of it. So it was really conserve mode on that boost, and the problem with running out is again what we talked about in previous races, is the shift of balance on the car. It all of a sudden it oversteers a lot, and that can catch you out when the car's set up and you're expecting a certain handling into and out of turns, and all of a sudden it handles differently, much differently, like not just a little bit, but a big difference. If you're not ready for it and not expecting it, it can catch you out quite easily. And I know I struggled here. I only had about 50 minutes of practice, actually less than that, because I was having hardware problems this night on Friday night. So I lost some practice time. I think here's one of my off tracks, and I rejoined. We just missed it. I was struggling quite a bit between the hardware problems and then not having as much practice as I would like. It was I found it very difficult to manage the boost this race, even on auto mode. It is still a lot to keep track of. And I think Muhammad didn't get any practice Friday night. He jumped in the server at qualifying saying he had just gotten home from work. So I really felt for him, because I had a little over half an hour of practice. I was not prepared. But here's Adam Young. He's doing a good job. He's P2 right now. Doing a good job keeping it mostly on track and setting down some decent lap times. And this is Greg just trucking along in P2. A 20-second gap to the leader there between Greg and Leaf. Hey, here is your leader. Adam Young. So this is down to turn 5 here. What they call turn 5. To me, this is turn 3, but again, turn 5, you got a short straight up the hill here underneath the Corvette bridge. That's turn 6. 90-degree left. Then you got a fast right-hander here, turn 7. Down what they call hurry downs. Down the hill here to turn 8, 90-degree left as he goes on the inside of the GTE leader. And then this goes into a very, very long sweeping turn 9 and 10 known as the carousel. And the P1s, it's a little lift, and then you're hard on it as you exit the carousel here. And it's just full throttle, all the way full throttle through the kink there in the P1s. As Greg comes through the carousel, we'll see if we get an onboard of him through the kink. I'm thinking these GTEs are lifting just a little here. Let's listen. This little lift there, exit the kink, and then down the back straight here. 11A. I think the race director just doesn't want me to get a full lap in here. So supposedly this little kink right there, that's turn 2 apparently, and then this would be turn 3. And then this little kink before that Sargento bridge, that's 3A. Alright, finally we're going to get a shot of the back stretch here on board with Leaf. That was 11A and 11B. And we're just not going to show the Canada Corner turn 12 tonight, I don't think. Larry's back out on track. He's a P6 in class, 5 laps down. Lockup from Larry. That was down at turn 8. Look at the speed difference here. Now Larry's got a damaged race car. But still, that is huge. wait on a shot to finish these corners here. Road America, located Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Just a hair over 4 miles, 4.048 miles, 6.5 kilometers, 14 official turns. But as I pointed out, there's some turns that really don't know how they got a turn number assigned to them, and then you have a lot of 3A, 11, 11A, 11B, 13, 13A, you know, a lot of a lot of turns where they shied away from giving it a number. Giving it its own number anyway. Oh, here we go. This is down the backstretch and into turn 12. Canada corner as Adam runs wide there. Into 13 and then 13A. Out of really fast 13A into 14. And this is your final turn onto the front stretch. Now, I'm not sure how that Audi fared using its hybrid system. Adam was the only driver in the field, and I didn't hear too much from him Friday night. The Audi doesn't have the, as we talked about, it doesn't have the recharge from the turbo when you're going down the straightaways, when you're under throttle. It only regenerates under braking, which I would think means that it has a better system to regenerate energy from its braking system than the Porsche does. But I really thought the Porsche, there's so many points where you're full throttle that it would be able to recharge more than what it did, and that just wasn't the case. Looks like Clint's also retired, and Larry's just made up enough laps to move into P5. Still 5 laps down. Speaking of Larry, here he is. I believe he took all his required and possibly his optionals, I'm not sure. But I still see some damage on the left front fender there. And that was from contact right here with Greg. You see the left rear of Greg's car is still damaged. Or right rear, sorry. Right rear of Greg's car is still damaged. Don't let Daniel's Toyota hybrid fool you. That's just a really cool livery from the Toyota team. That is a Porsche 919 that he's racing. So here's Chris. He's chasing down Tommy Brown for the podium. Tommy's sitting in P3 right now after Clint's retired. This would be if Tommy can get that podium position. Let's see here. I was curious when's the last time Tommy's had a podium? And, you know, it's been October 2014 was the last time he raced in the league. So his last podium. Oh, I do not see a podium on his stats list. His best finish in the league was a P4, May 18, 2014 at COTA, again in the roof. So that'd be a P3. That'd be his best position, his best finish in the TX league. And looking at Chris's stats, his best finish in TX League to date was a P6, also at COTA, and this series in the Maverick Cup. That was round 1 this season. So both these drivers really having a really good race here at Road America. Standings heading into this round, after round 2 at Le Mans. Your LMP1 standings, your LMP1 Pro, Paul, 63 points, myself 60, and Billy Smith 35. And then for your gentlemen's class, Scott Burke at 55. Scott couldn't make it Friday night, he had a wedding to attend. And Adam in his first race of this season, looking to gain some ground on Scott. For your LMGTE, your pro class, Larry Ford, 64 points, Leif Peterson 37, and Aaron Thacker 35. Aaron's not in the field tonight, and Leif, this is his second start to Larry's 3. Or, yeah, this is, yeah, Larry's third start, but points were 2 starts, and Leif's first start was last week, so only had 1, which is the points difference there. And there is 1 drop week. So Leif did miss the first race of the season, but he could still drop that, so still a points battle there. Not what Larry was looking for, to see Leif way out in P1 while he had some problems. And then your LMGTE gentlemen's standings, a lot closer here. Chris Thorman, 58, Clint Ford, who's now retired, 53, and Greg running P2 at 52 points. This race tonight, we're halfway through it, 30 minutes to go, just under 30 minutes to go. This will also be mark the end of the first half of the season. 3 more races after this. In 2 weeks' time, we'll have Spa. that'll be a night race. That could be interesting in these cars. That's 2 weeks, April 27th. May 11th, we're off to Canada, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And then 2 weeks after that, May 25th, the final race of the season, Road Atlanta. Oh, we got cars pitting. Daniel's in, Adams in, Leaf's in. And I would say I'm almost certainly coming in this lap as well. Ooh, almost missed that turn. Quick stop for Adam Young. 16.5 seconds in the box, 48.4 down pit lane. That was compared to Daniel's 22.7 in the box and 54.1 down pit lane. That may have been Daniel taking tires since he had the gap to do so. Oh, you know, maybe not. I was 20.8 and I don't believe I took tires, so 20 point, I know I didn't take tires, so 20.8 no tires, 52.6 down pit lane. Daniel possibly maybe had some damage going over these curbs. I know I had some damage from off tracks. The curbs aren't really high at all here, but there are some big dips in places depending on where, if you go off and come back on. I got airborne a couple times going off track and hitting some of those ruts and such out there in the grass. So maybe some damage. Not sure why Daniel had that 22.7 stop. Leaf's done with his GTE stop. He's P2 right now. Greg hasn't stopped yet though. Oh, only 8 seconds up there. Leaf stop was a 27.6 seconds in his box and a 58.9 all the way down pit road. And there's Greg making his stop and Leaf back to the lead. Be interesting to see how Tommy and Chris play out their pit stops here. They're running pretty similar lap times as Greg hits pit road. Sorry, Greg's already been on pit road. Making his box now anyway. So many places here to use your boost, but just so few places it felt like to regenerate any battery. So Greg, quicker stop than Leaf. Leaf was a 27.6, Greg was a 22.2. Still waiting on Tommy and Chris to make theirs. And Larry's going to be iffy on needing a second one. He's, what, 5 laps down? I'm going to say he's probably going to need to stop again. If you thought that view out that LMP1 car was bad, remember that camera is sitting higher than the driver's head. So eye level is lower than that, and even more difficult seeing some of the turns and apexes over those wheel humps. Yeah, those big old wheel humps right there. And the driver sits so low in this car. Oh, hold on to it, Adam. So Tommy and Chris still yet to make their stops. That leaves Tommy in P2 and Chris in P3, but Greg is well, barely 10 seconds behind him. For those who enjoy watching the videos I post up, sorry for the late one on this Road America race. I know I usually try to get them done Saturday afternoons and get them posted, at least by Saturday evening. I was watching the little one all day Saturday, so I wasn't able to get it done here until Sunday evening. Whoa. Tommy was trying to move out of the way for Daniel. Usually what we do is we recommend the GTE cars, the slower classes, just to maintain your line, especially on corner exit. Go ahead and take that corner exit if the driver is behind you, and we'll try to come up the inside in the faster class. Now, if obviously the faster class is making a move around the outside of you and he's looking to the outside, then on corner exit, if he's already out there, then obviously you don't go ahead and just track out and run him off. But in that case, it looked like Tommy just wanted to exit the turn and then get out of the way, and Daniel wasn't expecting that. I like that big wide rumble strip on the exit of Canada Corner there. It's more than a car width wide. Yeah, if you're going to let the cars run out there, why not just go ahead and pave the track out that far? This track's got a few of those. There's another one. A few of those really wide runoffs. Not like your like Coda or Spa where it's pretty much paved to the wall. I guess at least Road America still retains some of its charm, having grass and gravel and dirt out there. But like right there, look how wide that is. It's almost a car width wide, and that's after the painted strips. They even give you that little spot there to run out to the right before the left's going in. Give you a little more room to arc the corner. If you pave it, the drivers will use it. Oh, this is Tommy on pit road. So Chris did not stop. Greg already has and has gone by. That moves Tommy down to 4th. So this is where Chris is really going to want to push on this lap. Push as hard as he can. I think he was still somewhere 4 or 5 seconds behind. And that's not what he wanted, slowing down to try and let P1s go through. He wants to be pushing, going as fast as he can to shorten that gap between him and Tommy. So he could maybe try and pull off the leapfrog on pit lane. Like I said, if you pave it, the drivers will use it. And sometimes we'll use even more. So Tommy with a very quick stop, 12.9 seconds in his box. That's compared to Greg's 22.2 and your leader's 27.6. Leaf was also 58.9 down pit lane, and Tommy was 48.2, so more than 10 seconds quicker on pit lane. So I'm not sure. That may indicate that that P1 and P2, Leaf and Greg may have taken tires. I don't drive the GTE, so I'm not 100% sure what a pit stop time is supposed to look like. But Chris is in now, and let's see where he comes out in relative to Tommy. Oh, I was busy watching that. I don't know if the replay director picked it up. You see me on pit lane. More problems. iRacing froze up on me, and pretty much all my ancillary programs froze up. And I got booted out to the desktop and disconnected from the race. So once you disconnect from the race, that's automatically tows your car to pit road. It was kind of weird because all of a sudden the screen went to the desktop, but I could still hear the sim running, and I could hear my car crashing into stuff. So I was holding the brake, waiting for it to come to an end, and I mean, I wanted to escape out, but there was nothing to escape out of. You know, the sim had already crashed to the desktop, so I was just hoping that I was clear of the track and wasn't impeding everyone. I was wondering if the replay director was going to pick any of that up. I'm guessing if they didn't show it, I probably didn't make contact with anyone. I probably just ran off in the grass and scraped along the wall. I know when I hop back in now, it looks like I'm back off of pit road now. I know when I hopped in the car, I was getting pit service. It was changing tires for me, adding a full tank of fuel. And there wasn't too much damage. I think 18 seconds or so of optional repairs. For those who don't do iRacing, you have 2 repair types. You have required repairs. Those are repairs that you're obviously required to make. And then you have what's called optional repairs, meaning the crew, there's more that could be fixed and the crew could try and fix, and if you want to try and take those, you can. I went ahead and let the crew fix the car as best they thought they could and head out, and it wasn't too bad. So, not sure what I all hit, but it wasn't too bad. Ooh. So Chris out ahead of Tommy. What did that stop look like? Oh, that was even quicker than Tommy's. He was a 12 with Tommy's 12.9, and that's almost a second quicker stop. But Chris was 43.5 down pit lane, where Tommy was a 48.2. So Tommy's new coming back, been away for a few years. Looks like he just needs to figure out how to get on and off pit road just a little quicker. Because he lost about 5 seconds right there on his pit stop. And now that's why him and Chris are running close together here, within almost a second of each other. So just over 13 minutes to go. And I believe this is going to be the closest battle of the night right here. Who can get that final podium step on GTE LM, or LM GTE. But after my disconnect, I'm 2 laps down, and here's a shot of me. 2 laps down, but with Muhammad already retiring and Adam was already out to such a huge lead, I think over a minute at that point. I didn't lose anything, and I certainly didn't stand to gain much. Another problem with my disconnect in this race was there was some talk of the P1s possibly not being able to make it on just one stop and maybe needing to stop twice. Now obviously Daniel doesn't have much pressure from Adam, who's 30 seconds, more than 30 seconds behind him here. And then my disconnect means Adam was under pressure, so he definitely had the opportunity to save fuel. But one thing I noticed is when we do the fuel numbers in practice and test sessions, it seems like people always burn way more fuel in practice and testing, and then come race conditions, they don't burn quite as much. So I'm always a little. Oh, Daniel sets. Oh, never mind. I thought he went purple there. No, 147.3. 2 seconds slower than his best lap. I always take those numbers, those fuel numbers from practice and testing with a grain of salt. We watch Adam pick his way through this GTE battle. So there's that shot. This is naturally we're going to go away from it. Tommy with a little connection hiccup this week. Leaf showing us how to go down through the gears in that Ferrari. So that damage on the rear of Greg's car is obviously not hurting him too much, just cosmetic. He's still P2, over a minute behind Leaf, but more than 30 seconds ahead of P3. And a thank you to Larry for providing the replay for tonight. After my disconnect, obviously that means I lost the replay. At least from the first part of the race before the disconnect. So Tommy, he's fallen back, 6 seconds behind Chris. So the plan is to run 2 seasons with these cars. This first season purposely chose tracks that are longer in nature. I wanted to give everyone a chance to get spread out before we started having class interactions. Just to give everyone a chance to get accustomed with the P1 cars, the GTEs, how they're going to work in traffic. So like we said, we went through the schedule. We had COTA, Le Mans, now Road America, and we finished off with Spa, Montreal, and Road Atlanta. So the tracks gradually start, after Spa, we'll start getting into slightly shorter tracks, and then next season we'll have a bigger mix of tracks for season 3. And like we said, this Maverick Cup is meant to be a series that hops around, chooses different cars. The Lone Star Sports cars uses the GT3 cars, and we'll continue to use those for the foreseeable future. I believe we introduced the GT3 cars in 2013, and we'll continue to use them in that series. And then for something different, for the Maverick Cup on the Lone Star Sports car off weeks, this Maverick Cup will do different cars every few seasons. So this season and season 3 will be the LMP1 and GTE. Season 4, haven't yet decided what it'll be. Probably have a few cars for people to choose from and vote on. But we'll worry about that when we get closer to it. Coming down to 4 minutes to go. Back on board with Tommy. He's gotten it down to just under 4 seconds here. He was at 6. Oh no! Oh, and the replay director cuts to your leader, who is coming up on the scene of that spin. That was in the final turn, right here. Tommy's got it straightened up and 8 seconds up ahead there. I would say commentators curse that Tommy spun once we started talking about him, but as this is a replay, it's already a couple nights old. So looks like a 5th place Larry Ford gonna finish in 5th place tonight. Not what he wanted. I'm sure he was hoping for a top 3. I don't remember his pace to Leaf in practice. I would suspect Leaf was still quite a bit quicker, but I think Larry had planned on battling for P2. So P5 is definitely not where he wanted to be after that contact on lap 1. There's your leader, Daniel. Working his way around Chris. And then that'll be Leaf up ahead, the LMGTE leader. Don't get confused on, I know we talked about the Pro division and the GM division. I don't want people to get confused on that. You see the Pro classification, and Larry does have to make a second stop. Here he comes with just under 2 minutes to go. Not quite enough. I think all the GTE cars come with the Pro stamp on them. I think for next season I'm gonna try to make a layer decal that'll apply to the cars on the broadcast to help the viewers tell the difference between who's in the Pro division, like Leaf right there, and who's in the GM. Maybe make those number plates and that Pro marker a different color. So for this season, I think all the GT cars have a Pro decals on them because iRacing stamps that on. Unless, of course, you have a custom plate with a custom paint with a custom decal pack, which is what we'll do hopefully for next season. Then you can override those settings. So Daniel should have taken the white flag already, meaning everyone else cycling around now will be getting the white flag. And this is the finish, I believe? Yes, Daniel Johnson taking the win there. And on to your LMGTE leader. This is Leif Peterson. Congrats to those guys. And this is Chris P3, Tommy Brown behind him, coming P4. Yay! podium out of 3 cars who finished the race. I was just excited to finish after the problems I had that night. And here comes Larry, P5. I'm sure he's disappointed in that, but he'll be back. Looked like was that Adam behind him? Congrats, Adam, P2. Nice finish, buddy. And Greg comes off the carousel through the kink. He'll be the final car to finish tonight. And congrats to you as well, Greg. Nice finish in P2 there. This is Greg's best finish tonight. Congrats, Greg.